Hi, my name is Peter and I'm lead designer of Die by the Blade game. Welcome to the video. I'm going to show you pre-alpha gameplay of Die by the Blade, as well as things that we have planned for the game in the future. Please bear in mind that this is early preview and a lot of animations and systems as well will be changed, hopefully for the better. Welcome and enjoy the video. So let's get started. In Die by the Blade you can move freely around the arena. You can use joypad or D-pad or mouse and keyboard as well. You can also perform rolls, which are very long, basically jump movements to clear away from your opponents, which is very handy when you are fighting an opponent with very long weapons. You can also perform short dashes to the side, forward and back as well. So this is the range of the movement we currently have in the game. What you'll be also able to do is to climb on higher surfaces as in original Bushido Blade games. So for example, you can climb up the ledges or jump down and basically run away from your opponent and wait for them to climb up after you and so on and so forth. So this is not yet implemented, but we are definitely working on that. In Die by the Blade, everything revolves around stances. So you have 4 basic stances: top one, forward, down and back. These stances decide which kind of attack you can perform. For example, let's perform the horizontal attack. Right, so this is how it looks when you attack with the in the forward stance. Then you change it to back, the attack animation changes. Same for the top and so on. So different stances have different effect on your reach, speed of attack and various other parameters of the attack. So let's look at how that looks when I perform top vertical strike. Right, see, this is very high, long attack. Let's look at how that looks from the bottom. Right, so this is much faster, but actually quite short in terms of distance. Right, so this has a very long kind of preparation phase, very strong and heavy attack from the top. So what you can see when I press the attack button, you can see some small arrow coming in. This basically indicates to your enemy what kind of stance you are in, because what you can do is perform one attack after another in different stance, and basically he has to be at the same stance that you are to successfully block or parry you. Alright, so that's basic of that. So when I talk about blocking, let's look at how the blocking works. So when you press the blocking button, your character basically locks into a blocking stance. You can also change a blocking stances as well. So as you can see at the left side of the screen, I'm using the gamepad right stick to change those stances. You can also use a button on the controller to cycle through them. And basically these stances are your main line of and blocking is main line of defense from the enemy attacks. Right, so if I enable the AI, right, you see I was in the wrong stance. He attacked from the top. Yeah, so he hit my sword. Oh yeah. So let me be in the proper. Right, so I was hit from the bottom. You see that, let me turn off the AI quick again. So you see that I'm now injured. I have various effects, like for example I move very slowly or should move slowly. I'm also, the animation is showing the enemy that I'm walking with a kind of hit lag. These effects basically changes how I can attack as well, the speed of attack and so on. So it has a minor attack because we don't want you to be, basically if you are injured, to not be able to fight. But this is probably something that we need to still work on and kind of make sure that it works and it's balanced. Yeah, so these are basically the stances and core of the gameplay systems. Let's look at the attacking and stance-based attacks and combos as well. Basically, you're using stances, the direction, and the type of an attack, which is the either horizontal or vertical attacks. You have two types of attacks, 4 stances, so you have a lot of space to customize your attacks. So basically combos are performed during the opening. So when I perform an attack, you can see the white trail. That trail indicates when your basically input is opened. So during that you can start another attack. The other attack will be connected to the previous attack once it's done. So let's see how that works. Right? So what I do is I'm changing the stances from bottom to top. You can see the arrow as well. Right, so these two are attacks are connected. You can chain up to 3 attacks together. You can see also that when I perform an attack, you can see the white trail. This indicates that this is first attack in the chain, and then another is yellow. So let's look at how that looks when I have 3 attacks. So you can see that it changes from white to yellow to the red. So red one is the final stage. You have basically 3 stage combos that you can perform. And each stage defines how your enemies can respond and will respond to an attack. So for example, if I perform the first attack, he's being injured, and the second stage attack, if he's not blocked, he's basically knocked down. I have damage turned off for the attack purpose, for the demonstration purposes, but basically if you perform the top down up the attack, right, so what happens is the leg of your enemy is hit, so basically he then gets injured. And the second stage attack, if it's not blocked by your enemy, basically knocks him down, usually kills him. But if he's in wrong stance, so for example he's not in a top stance, then he gets knocked down, so like that. And the length of the knockdown, so how long that character is staggered or knocked or repelled, is defined by each an attack. So every single attack has its own basically number of frames that the enemy is on the ground or basically staggered. So you can use that knowledge to your advantage. This is basically you kind of have to learn that and remember how long is each of those lasts, and so that you can actually be effective fighter. So let's look at feinting. In Die by the Blade you can perform attacks as well as you can cancel them by pressing the block button. Let me enable input visualization. So I perform attack and press the blocking button. You go immediately into the block. So if your enemy watching you and sees the arrow and sees you beginning an attack, you can like enable the block, which is, you know, reasonable thing to do at that situation. But you can cancel the attack and basically go on and continue with some different attack. You can even change stances to perform something shorter, you know, quicker. So let's perform attack, so, top attack, bottom, right? So he was he would probably go into block. The AI doesn't perform that yet, but definitely a human player would do something like that. So trying to block a top attack, then you can go down and perform bottom attack, and then go immediately back to top stance. So this way you can kind of play with the mind of your opponents and basically use that to your advantage. Bear in mind that you can only block, you can only feint if your trail or the input buffer, I would say, is not enabled. So once you are in there, you can cancel your attack, just goes through. Thank you for tuning in, and please bear in mind that this is very early preview and we are going to improve a lot of things, including animations and stances systems and loads of other things. There's still a lot of work ahead of us. If you like us, please join our Discord server or like us on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can watch the progress basically on those channels. Thank you for tuning in and have a good night.